All right, looks like it's working this time. I don't know what happened the last couple times. Everything was set up right and it just didn't work. How's the mic? How's the mic? Can anybody hear me? Somebody in here? Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. Bluefish. Hey, Bluefish. All right. Ruben, what's up, man? Make Ruben a moderator. Just gonna wait till a couple people get in here. Obviously, I had some technical difficulties. I don't know what happened. I did the same thing every time, and for some reason, it kept showing up as you like my tax, Chrissy? I just kind of want to rant. Like, I've been wanting to make like a weekly news story and like have it all like produced and official and professional and have like background videos. And but that I'm not at that level yet. I'm not at that level of stability yet. Hopefully in the future. So, how you doing, Sharon? So I want to talk about a few things today. Like, obviously, first, if you guys are following in my platforms, you know that the FBI contacted me today, and I want to talk about that because I'm going to take a real hard stance on that. Give it another moment or so and see if we get any more people in here. I remember when I used to get like hundreds and thousands of people in my live streams. I've been absent for a while and not been too consistent, trying to keep my own mental sanity, so it's understandable. All right, so I want to like just talk about something today, and I realize that this is probably not something I should talk about, or maybe I should keep my mouth shut about it and just like let things happen. But I don't want to do that, and I don't think it's good to do that. I was contacted by the FBI today. They called me on my phone. It came up on caller ID as FBI, and I ignored the first call, and they called me right back without leaving a message. And I figured, like, all right, this is happening. I'm gonna deal with it. Let's deal with it. And so I answered the call, and the minute the guy got on the phone, he tells me to, you're not in trouble, you're not in trouble, you're not in trouble. He's trying to console me. And I'm not worried about being in trouble because I haven't done anything wrong for the FBI to come after me. All the footage that I've done, all the filming I've done, I haven't committed crimes doing that. I've been very forthright in what I was doing and filming, and I haven't been part of these bad things that have happening. I've called many people out for doing the bad things that I've seen them do, and so I'm not scared about that. What I am worried about is that they are prosecuting people throughout the country with political bias. There are patriots in prison right now for doing hardly anything at all, just being at a certain spot and being slandered, and they've been held in solitary confinement for months and months and months without charges, without trial. It's horrible. So I don't want to be a part of helping that. I also don't want to be a part of being tricked into thinking I've done some kind of crime that I haven't done, and being able to be manipulated, as we've seen throughout the last 5 to 10 years that FBI does pretty intensely. I think I'm talking past my understanding, my knowledge right now, so give me some grace. But anyways, so the FBI tells me that I'm not in trouble. I'm not in trouble at all, at all, at all. They just want to meet up face to face and they want to talk to me. They say that there was some kind of complaint made and they have to investigate every complaint. And in the process of reviewing that complaint, it came out that I might have been a witness to a crime. And so I asked them, what crime was it? Where was it? Who's the suspect? And they won't tell me any of that. They just say, like, we want to meet you up in face to face. I'm a face to face kind of guy. It's better to be face to face. And I'm like, what state was it in? Why are you contacting me? Why are you contacting me? What's this about? And then they feigned ignorance and kind of told me like, well, I'm not really sure who you are. You know, you're like a blogger or like a gonzo reporter. I know you've like covered events around the country this last year. And I'm like, okay, these guys are blowing smoke up my ass. Like, I think I'm an idiot. Um, and then I asked them, do I need a lawyer? And then they didn't say no, like you would expect, but they would like say, oh, we just want to talk to you about certain things. And I was just real honest with them. I was like, I don't trust the government. The government is politically prosecuting people this last year, and it's ridiculous. And they feigned ignorance. So, but it bothered me. It's bothered me for the last 6 months. So you guys know that I was at DC filming there. And you guys know that I witnessed and filmed the death of Roseanne Boyland. If you guys have been following me, you know that footage out of my iPhone magically disappeared out of my iPhone. I'm under the firm conviction that the federal government remotely removed footage from my phone. All my footage is perfectly intact until I get to the tunnel. And there's a giant man that pushes me into the tunnel, and I got sucked into the fray. And I ended up being in there when people were getting passed out from mace, getting trampled. I filmed the trampling, specifically the trampling death of Roseanne Boyland. I filmed me helping and directing CPR on Roseanne, and all that just disappeared from my phone. All of it disappeared from my phone. So I pulled back from all the streaming stuff and reporting stuff that I was doing after the 6th, because it really messed with my head. For one thing, it really bothered me that the whole Patriot crowd kind of went crazy and they lost their mind and they started acting like Antifa at the Capitol. But it really bothered me that my footage got taken out of my phone and that I started seeing people getting maliciously politically prosecuted for, like, what are they saying, the memas or the grandmas that are getting arrested? How many, like, innocent grandmas that were just walking through the Capitol have been, like, run through the mud for that event? It's insane. It's insane. But I wanted to make sure that I knew that I knew that I was what I was doing. I don't want to be some like another just leaf in the wind, encouraging people to like be crazy and do stupid things. I also don't like certain things like the Q movement, and I don't like to be a part of that, and I don't like to encourage that. I'm getting ahead of my thoughts right now. I'm just rambling. But anyways, so the FBI contacted me. I contacted them back and I told them that if I don't have to talk to them, I don't want to talk to them. And if I have to talk to them, then they need to contact my lawyer. I think the federal government is a tyrannical regime right now, and I don't want to help them. I don't want to help them hurt my fellow citizens. I don't want to unknowingly give them a naive perspective on something that they can use and twist and make it what it's not and hurt people. Ethan Rufio is still in prison for nothing. I've met that guy. He's a good guy. He's been in solitary confinement for quite a long time. I think that's messed up. So I have decided, I don't even know what it's about. They didn't give me any information, but I don't want to cooperate with the tyrannical government. I don't want to cooperate with the communist regime that's taking over our country right now. I don't want to cooperate with lying bureaucrats. I don't want to. I don't even know. I don't even know what they want. So I don't even know. But I don't want to talk to them. And I've decided my stance is I'm not going to. I'm not going to help them. If it comes to it and I get held to contempt of court, then I will go to jail. I'm not helping the tyrants abuse the American populace and the American people. And if we all stand up together, then they will have no power to do that to us. But that's going to take a while for us to get all together and to stand up like that. And I'm willing to be one of the first people that makes an example of myself. I'm not perfect. Good God, I'm not perfect. I'm not a good man. Most of my life has been struggling in the dark and confusion and pain and inadvertently hurting other people. And I've stolen, I've lied, I've cheated, I've hurt people. But I've never been a person that has intentionally sought to hurt others. I'm not sure if there are people that do that. Maybe that's my naivety. But all of my wrongdoings I've done were driven by confusion and pain and ignorance. But now that I'm finally coming out of all that ignorance, like, I want integrity. I want to choose what my actions do. I don't want to be manipulated to do things. I don't want to compromise to avoid fearful situations. I'm not going to help the federal government hurt people. I'm not going to do that. And if that means that I have to go to prison, and this might be all like crazy thoughts in my mind right now. This might be nothing. This might be small beans. But in the light of things that are happening today, when, again, as I've repeated several times, people have been in solitary confinement for months without trial, without bond, without representation. I'm not gonna help that. I'm not gonna be a part of that. I'm not gonna help that. So that's as much as my histrionics and ranting on that subject that I'll have. I'll take some questions on that. I'll read the chat for a second, and then I'm going to move on to a couple other topics that I want to address. What's up, Eddie Block Films? So somebody just said, you're better use for outside. Don't be a martyr. I'm not trying to be a martyr, but I understand what you're saying, but I disagree with it. I've fundamentally come to this point to where do not compromise your integrity or your soul. This life is one life. We're here to decide who we're going to be, and we're going to live into eternity. So no, it doesn't matter what happens here. It doesn't matter who wins. It doesn't matter if the tyrants take control. The Christian Bible says that the tyrants are going to gain control. If you've read Revelations, the good guys don't win on this side of the veil. What matters is what you do here on this side of the veil and who you become. Does not matter if we win here. It does not matter. What matters is the choices you make and the person you become. For they will become creatures of light, or they will become creatures of darkness. That's all that matters here, is what you do and who you become internally. It doesn't matter if we win here. It does not matter. So my friend Rick says, you have no obligation to talk, period. This is a guarantee of the Fifth Amendment. So I've been watching a lot of um, First Amendment auditors and that kind of thing on YouTube and like lawyer stuff. I the Fifth Amendment only protects you if you're a suspect. You don't actually have the right to remain silent if you're a witness, if you're a subpoenaed witness. It's only the right to not incriminate yourself. But if you are claimed to be a witness to a crime, you don't have the right to remain silent for that. They can throw you in jail for not speaking. The U.S. Constitution and the U.S. Governing body is not the pancakes and cupcakes that we were led to believe when we were kids. Just looking through some of the chats. They're coming so fast I can't catch everyone. So Wednesday Adams says FBI called you because they must be watching you. Yeah, so that's why I'm wondering why all of a sudden they call me. Like I get a phone call every week or maybe twice a week sometimes from a number from Portland that I don't recognize. I don't answer phone numbers I don't know. And I've assumed that might have been the FBI this whole time, but unless they want to leave me a message or something, this is the first time the phone number actually came up as FBI. And yeah, they're watching me. I know they're watching me. I've filmed so much crazy stuff this last year. It'd be insane to think that I wasn't being watched. So I was thinking about some things I did recently that like might have spurred this on. It could have been nothing I did recently. It could just be some claim they had and they're seeking it down. It just happens to be this timing. But I did a couple things. One, I released that Nick Fuentes video from the Capitol. I don't know if that has anything to do, but it does show that I have footage from that day. Another thing is that I said recently, I made some post about how I had found a video of an arrest at the Capitol event, and that person doesn't seem to be listed amongst the people arrested that day. I think that person might be a minor, and that might be why they're not listed that day. I've reached out to them, and they haven't responded back to me yet. But me digging around on my footage and going against the narrative, it's a big no-no. Oh my goodness, how much things have I said in this chat that I'm not supposed to say on YouTube? I don't think I've said anything on yet. You can't question you can't question that. There's a few things we're not supposed to question on here, and I've threatened to bring a couple of those things into light. So Susan still approves. So I'll take, if anybody wants to throw up a question up real quick, I'll look at the chat, but then I'm gonna move on to my next unrelated point. So if anybody, if I disappear on certain platforms, just remember Brave the Soul, and you can also look to people that I trust, like Common Sense Conservative or Jake Behind Enemy Lines. If my platform is going down, those are places that I trust, that you can trust to point you to new platforms that I might have. Just reading the chat right now. Should you get a dog? No, I haven't got a dog yet. I'm not stable enough to have a dog. One day, I think I need to wait until I get a girlfriend or like a significant other to get a dog so somebody can help me bear that burden because I'm too flighty. My bike is still down in Arizona because Icon. Um, I bought a lemon, so it's got a lot of issues with it. It was stupid for me to do that. So, all right. So I want to move on to the second topic that I want to talk about, unrelated to the FBI stuff. So, the FBI stuff. If I end up going to Gulag, I hope to see you guys there. Treat each other well there. Um, I'm not going to help the federal government hurt the patriots and hurt the citizens. I'm not even going to help the federal government to prosecute Antifa. If they wanted to prosecute Antifa on their crimes, they would have done that long ago. So anything the federal government is doing now is just political, and I want nothing to do with that. I do not want to do anything to do with the Zach De La Rosa was right. We got to take the power back. So there was an incident recently, some drama amongst the Patriot streamer community having to do with the Wii Spa. I don't know if you guys have been watching what's been going on in LA with the Wii Spa. So several weeks ago, a black woman in this spa in LA, she came out and she stormed out and she went off on the staff because there was a biological male in the women's locker room in front of women and young girls with his penis and balls walking around, just showing those. She went up to the staff and said, hey, the staff kind of like, you couldn't really hear them, but they were kind of like, he sent me commissary in the gulag. But the staff was just kind of like passing it off like, oh, it's a transgender person. And the woman was very disturbed. There were several other women in their bathrobes that came in there and obviously left the locker room in their bathrobes because they were disturbed that there was a man showing his penis and balls in the locker room. And we're supposed to think today like, oh, it's a trans person. That's a female penis. Nonsense. What happened to women's rights? What happened to little girls' rights? What happened to the right of women and girls not to have to be flashed or to see penis and balls? Something I haven't heard anybody talking about yet is I'm a man. I've only been in male locker rooms, but men don't walk around in the male locker room with their balls and penis out. There's always an old man that's walking flagrantly around in there with just butt naked, like air drying, and it makes everybody uncomfortable. And the reason why everybody knows about that old man, we talk about it, we make jokes, is because it's uncomfortable, it's weird, it's out of the norm. And I've asked a handful of women recently, and it's the same thing in the women's locker room. You don't walk around with your vagina showing in the women's locker room. So a person that's living as a woman is in the woman's locker room and is just walking around with his penis and balls showing. He's showing extremely lewd, eccentric, exhibitionist, and out of the norm behavior. And if you are a person that's on the minority, like let's give it the benefit of the doubt, and somebody is like really transgender, they're a woman trapped in a man's body. If you do not realize that you're the minority or you're the odd person out or you're the rarity or you're the exception, you're not normal by the definition of normal being usual or common. If you don't realize that and you don't take steps to make people around you comfortable and enable people to accept your uncommon behavior, so cover up in a place like that, that means that you're either not in touch with reality and how other people see things, or that you don't care about how other people see things. So if you're a biological male in the women's restroom and you're walking around with your penis and balls showing, either you don't care about the women and girls that are around you, or you're unaware that it makes them comfortable. And either way, you should not be in there. If you're unaware of the comfort of women and girls in their private spaces, you should not be in there. If you don't care about their comfort, you should not be in there. And you shouldn't be in there if you have a penis. You should not be in there. That's woosah. So these women that are coming to the staff at the Wee Spa at that event and complaining like we're not comfortable, we don't feel safe, we feel vulnerable. And the Wee Spa is saying like, well, it's a trans person. And there's like a gay guy in the lobby. It's like, oh, you're transphobic. And so it turns out like a week later, people came to protest outside of the Wee Spa. They said that we don't want biological men with penis and testicles hanging out in the locker room with our girls and our women. We want the women and girls to feel comfortable and feel safe in their vulnerable environment. And across the board, so we can argue, you can have all these stupid debates about like, oh, it's just body parts and this and that, but the personal aspect is ignored in those debates. The vast majority of women do not feel comfortable undressing and using the restroom and exposing their body to change clothes in front of a biological male. It makes them feel unsafe, it makes them feel uncomfortable, and it makes them feel vulnerable. Why does that not matter? Why is it only the trans person that like they need to feel like they can let their balls hang out in order to feel fabulous? Why does only their minority of a minority opinion matter? But the women and girls that feel unsafe in there, why does their opinion not matter? What is this upside down world that we're in? So a small group of people decided to protest, and they made a protest outside of the Wee Spa in LA, and Antifa decided to show up and counter-protest. I will grant this, there were a handful of religious bigots that showed up for the protest. They're the people that were holding those God hates fag signs, you're going to hell, sodomy's going to hell. Whatever you believe about Christianity, whatever you believe about LGBT, there's no reason to go scream fag at somebody or to tell somebody that God hates them. Like that's the Bible says to speak truth in love. There's no reason to go do that to people. It's not a loving thing. So they had the protest, and Antifa shows up. And for some reason, Antifa is protesting because they want men, biological men, to be able to walk around with their penises out in a woman's locker room and make young girls and women uncomfortable and make them feel unsafe. Because if you don't do that, you're transphobic for some reason. Like somehow we don't care about women anymore. We don't care about their comfort. We don't care about their desires and their wishes. All we care about is being progressive. And if we have to sacrifice women and girls' desires and their comfort and their feelings of safety in order to be progressive so that we can let men with penises and balls walk around in women's private spaces, somehow that makes people transphobic if you don't agree with that. So Antifa showed up and they assaulted several people. There were people on the other side, on I guess the right side, that also fought a little bit. I don't know if I saw any of the right initiating any violence, but there was some pushback from the right as well. But as far as I saw, Antifa was there beating people up and berating women and attacking people for having the audacity to want to speak out in favor of women's rights and women's sanctity, women's safe spaces. So that was there. That was that. So I'm going to move on to my final topic here in a second that is an adjacent to this topic. hate wearing this mask. But I'll read the chat here for a second. Oh, San Francisco gay choir. Oh, that's creepy, you guys. Hey, you cannot. They just. Oh, San Francisco gay choir. We're coming for your children. Good God. A lot of nipple talk today, Chrissy. Yeah, that video of the San Francisco gay choir. If you guys don't know, the San Francisco gay men's chorus made a cappella song with like dozens and dozens of gay guys singing about how we're gonna come for your children. And it's supposed to be a parody, and they're like saying it was just like, oh, it's just we're trying to make the children tolerant. But you can look up the video online and think for yourself. Come to whatever your conclusion you're thinking. People are extremely freaked out by it because they flat out say like we're gonna come indoctrinate your children, and they can claim it's all about tolerance and diversity, but it's tolerance of sodomy and molestation. It's not tolerance of the free exchange of ideas and beliefs. It's one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. And people are saying that some of them have been shown to be sex offenders, pedophiles. I don't know if that's true. I wouldn't put it past it, but the only person they're showing as an example is a guy way back in the 80s. He was like 24, and it says that something he had some kind of situation with a 14-year-old girl. So 24 and 14-year-old. I don't like that we blur the lines of pedophilia, because that's not pedophilia. And it's probably questionable in some situations. 100 years ago, 200 years ago, a 24-year-old man marrying a 14-year-old girl would be the norm. But the reason why I don't like it is because that's not the same as a grown man. That's not the same as a 24-year-old like jacking up a 7-year-old. That's something very, very different. So I don't like that we broaden that term of pedophilia. I hate pedophiles, and I hate people that take advantage of innocent people or younger people or helpless people. But I don't like that, like, pedophilia is something utterly disgusting and depraved and horrible. And I don't like that that's not reserved for pedophiles. That word needs to be reserved for pedophiles, because if we just broaden it and use it for other things, like a 24-year-old guy dating a 14-year-old girl, which is weird, in today's set, like that's weird, but that's not the same as pedophilia. That's not the same as a grown biological mature male going after a biologically immature child. That's we need to save that word to where it means we don't need to blur that word. That word needs to be protected to what it means. And so that when we hear it, we know that's the worst thing ever. Worst thing ever. So Barrick D says, no, F that dude, 24 dating 14, snap out of it. No, I'm not saying that's right. But what I'm saying is that's not pedophilia. Pedophilia is a biologically matured adult going after a prepubescent child. That is the most evil thing I can think of. And while it might be fucked up for a 24-year-old to be dating a 14-year-old or doing whatever they're doing, that's not the same as a grown man growing after prepubescent child. That's the most horrible thing I can think of. So we need to not blur that word. So the next point I wanted to make is I wanted to talk about the situation with the PT News Network and Black conservative preacher. So if you guys don't know, Black conservative preacher was at CPAC in Dallas, and he happened to come across Caitlyn Jenner. And he walked up to Caitlyn Jenner and called him Bruce and was saying, Bruce, Bruce, trying to get his attention. And he was asking Bruce Jenner about his thoughts on the LGBT teaching in schools. Bruce ignored him. Caitlyn ignored him. And then they walked through the doors to exit the building, and preacher ended by saying, "Don't forget about Jesus. Remember Jesus." And then he said, "That sick freak." And he titled the video, "Man in a Skirt." And then PT News Network, Steve Oakley, put out a video and disowned, he canceled preacher. And just kind of distanced himself from it. Put on another video, kind of like trying to like soften it, and then I think both of those videos have been removed. But these are my thoughts on it. So if you guys know my story, since I was a little boy, about 8 years old, I wanted to be a girl. I hid that, and I struggled with that confusion for most of my life. Years and years ago, I started going out as a drag queen, and I started exploring that and entering into that world. I found that that was a path to death, and it was dysfunctional, and it caused me more and more pain. It didn't alleviate my confusion. It didn't alleviate my pain, but I did that stuff. I did it. I did all that kind of thing. And that could be like several videos talking about that and explaining all that. But I have the view from this side, and I have the view from that side. I remember one Halloween, I was dressed up in drag at a gay bar in Portland, Oregon, and I went outside for a smoke while I was drinking. And there was those people with the flame posters on a pole. It says like, "God hates fags, fags are going to hell." And I was lost and hurting at the time, like really confused, and just had no hope and nothing to point to. I went outside to have a smoke, and I saw those guys. I'd been aware of that like Westboro Baptist kind of thing before, and I've seen all that kind of stuff, but I'd never really seen it in real life. Definitely wasn't on the receiving end of it. And my experience with that was that I was hurting and I was confused, and I was pretty sure what I was doing wasn't healthy, but I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how to deal with those desires in me, and I didn't know how to talk to, and I was hopeless. I was lost. And I step outside, and these guys are like holding these signs with flames all over them, saying fags are going to hell. Like I'm not homosexual, but like it's in the same realm. I'm sure that they would call a straight transgender person a fag as well. But I saw those it broke me. It just like crushed me. Like, it didn't point me to Jesus. It didn't point me to righteousness. It didn't point me to God. It didn't point me away from the LGBT world. It just took me in that lost, broken, dark place. It made me feel more lost, more broken, more helpless, more dark. It's like I was in the trash heap, and those guys just came and put a boot on my face and like stuck me down further in the trash heap. It didn't help at all. What helped me was giving myself the freedom to explore. I'm not, and by that I'm not saying that people should like go in to do nasty things just to explore them, but to give yourself a chance to question your own heart and question reality and act how you will, to act on your own free will, and to evaluate whether your actions are right or wrong, to give you the freedom to be wrong. They make mistakes. But anyways, so BC Preacher rolls around with those crowds that are it's not Westboro Baptist Church, but they're like street preachers, like hellfire raising street preachers, and they go and they call people faggot, and they tell people they're gonna go to hell. Repent or you're going to hell, sinner, and that kind of stuff. Where is that in the Bible? The Bible says to speak the truth in love. So you can err in both ways. The right tends to speak the truth and to say what's factually truth, but they do it in a way that hurts people. And the left tends to lie to people. They don't speak the truth, but they do it in a nice way. So they lie to people in a way that makes people feel good. So the right and the left are both on the opposite ends of that. But the Bible says that we should speak the truth in love. So going up to Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, so you can call him Caitlyn. That I assume he's had a legal name change. So, but I understand like not wanting to be forced to call him a man or a woman when he's a man and to engage in that delusion. But to just go up and like accost him like that and then call him a sick freak, it's all about show, and it's rooted in anger, and there's nothing. I'm not a Christian, so I'll be upfront with that, but I find value in the Bible. I want to be a Christian. I want to be convinced that Jesus rose from the dead. I want that. I try to live as though it's true, but I haven't come to a belief that the Christ actually rose from the dead. So I'm giving that as a caveat. I'm not trying to be deceptive here. I value the Bible deeply, and I try to like hold what I find true in the Bible as true, and I hold to it. But I don't lie and say that I believe something that's true when it's not. So I'm just trying to be honest here. But just walking up, like, what? How was that loving? How was that loving? Like, what purpose was that accomplishing? Yeah, I'm mad that Caitlyn Jenner, Bruce Jenner, is pushing that lifestyle and that ideology on young people and children, and just how dare he run for office and think that he is in a position to lead people when he's so confused, and how dare he encourage children to follow down that path of destruction. I will tell you that confusion, that gender confusion, ruined my life. It pushed me into alcoholism, pushed me into like gambling, any impulsive behavior that you think you'd have. Like, I was pushed into it out of that just despair and confusion from that. But what good does it do to go up and like on camera, Bruce, oh, remember about Jesus, you sick freak? That's not Christian. That's not loving. And if that is Christianity, fuck that Christianity. I don't want anything to do with it. I cut ties with Preacher months and months and months ago because he was involved with those things. He was involved with those Westboro Baptist type street preachers that just cuss at people, tell people they're going to hell without any hope, and just hate on people. I don't think that's Jesus. I don't think that's Christianity, and I want nothing to do with it. So I'll defend Steve. So while that video was kind of vanilla, he just called him Bruce. That's his birth name. He addressed him as a man. He is a man. He didn't really like get too aggressive and hateful in that little video clip. If you guys are wondering what video clip I'm talking about, if you go to the Black Conservative Preachers YouTube page, you can go down like 8 or 9 videos or so. It says man in a skirt or something. It's about a minute long. While every opinion that Preacher expressed in that video may be accurately true, depending on if you see the world that way, or you believe the Christian worldview, or believe the Bible, and depending on your different perspectives, even if it was factually true, the opinions he was expressing, it wasn't loving, and it served no good purpose other than to accost him and to just stir up drama and to I think we can all agree that if you watch that video, preacher was not treating Bruce Jenner as how he would want to be treated. He was not treating Bruce Jenner with love. So I'm against all that hellfire posters and fags go to hell kind of stuff. That's not loving. That's not Jesus. That's not Christianity. And I'm not saying that we should just accept these people that are going into your church and or your schools and perverting your children. You see that guy that dressed like a monkey with a dildo hanging out his off his costume in London was going into the public library to read to children? That stuff is messed up. And you have to stand against that stuff to protect innocent people. But that doesn't mean we have to go and just accost them and run them down and treat them like trash. Like the truth in love. Hold to the truth and be loving. Don't lie to people to make them feel good, but don't beat the crap out of people with facts. The truth in love. It's that simple. So, while I'm not super happy that Steve took the really quick to cancel preacher, preacher's doing some, I don't know, his message isn't that I chose to not associate with preacher months and months ago for the same reason, because I found out that he was still involved in those hateful street preacher groups. So don't be so hard on PT News Network for that. Like, be honest. Like, just because the facts, or just because you agree with the facts or the beliefs that preacher was expressing, do you agree with what he was doing? Did that help? So Harry Testes says Leviticus 18 and 20. And that says that if a man lie in a bed with another man, he should be stoned to death. I don't think you know the Christian Bible very well, because we don't stone people to death anymore. Do you know why? I mean, you're quoting that verse. Do you know why that verse is out of place if you believe in the Christian worldview? Do you know why Christians don't stone people to death? I don't care. I could lose all my followers. Like, I learned like shortly into this whole thing that I don't like I'm not saying I'm famous. I've got a little bit of fame, like little tiny YouTube following, like short of 20,000. I'll lose them all. I don't care what you guys think about me. Like, I hope that I'm providing some benefit, but I don't want to be part of this hating people. Anna Kay says, when conservatives act like raging lunatics, they are no better than the intolerant left. I agree. Like, we gotta stop like thinking about the left and the right team, you guys. Just think about your values and act on your values, and don't worry about what team you're on. That whole tribalism thing right now, it's like really messing people up. Barrick D says you can't let this stuff into your society, and you can't let them teach your children. Barrick, you don't know how much I believe with you. I agree with you, because I have suffered from that mind virus since I was a little boy. I was a little boy. I was a child. I didn't choose to enter in that world. It like infected me. And it hurt me in my life so, so, so bad. And the reason why I speak out about it today is because I'm so worried about these little kids that are in the same position me as like they're helpless and they're gonna get infected by it. But just because you can see a principle of like what's healthy and what's not healthy, doesn't mean that you need to go attack and accost the unhealthy people. You can do both. You can have standards and you can love people that aren't holding your standards. You don't have to we don't have to hate or accost or run people down into the mud. So someone says, Scott Irish says, forget about BCP and Steve. What would you do? I would be loving to anyone and see them as a person. If I were in that situation, you can never know. You can't recreate things, do what ifs. But if I were in the situation where I was at CPAC and I saw Caitlyn Jenner, I would walk up. I would probably feel comfortable addressing Caitlyn as Caitlyn because it's just a legal name. It's just a title, and I'm sure he's changed it to Caitlyn. I'm not going to call him she. I'm not going to treat him as though he's a woman. Um, and I would ask him why he thinks he should be running for governor and why I I I am the same as Caitlyn Jenner. Whatever you see going on in Caitlyn Jenner's head, that's what I've dealt with in my life. I understand it. I see inside and out. I know what's in Caitlyn Jenner's head. It's a lot dirtier than you think. I would cut to the heart with him and be like, why are you promoting children to go down this path with you? It's one thing if you're gonna like it's heavy. It's hard. It is hard. You guys don't know. If you haven't dealt with that stuff, you don't know. It's hard and confusing. It's one thing to go down that dark road by yourself. It's another thing to encourage children to walk down that path with you. And I would address that with him. That's what I would have talked to him about. Why are you promoting children to go down your path of darkness? Anna Kay says Bruce Caitlin, I believe, still likes women for all the judges here that think he's gay. She's gay. Yeah, there's no doubt. Bruce Jenner is a heterosexual male. He wishes to be a woman and he tries to present as a woman. He's a biological male and he's attracted to women. That out of all the men that want to be women, 85% of them are heterosexual, meaning that they want to be with biological females. It's a very small minority of men that want to be women that actually are attracted to males. Yeah, misdemeanor. Give Steve a little break. Like that's his full-time job, and whatever you think about that. Me and Steve have had a lot of beef because I'm more of a anarchist. I'm an anarchist, and Steve is an authoritarian, to where like he believes that if we just create a structure and we have strong men upholding that society works better that way. And I don't believe that. I believe that people should be free and not forced. Texas Patriot 1966 says, so they are lesbian? No, they're not a lesbian. He's a man. He's a heterosexual man. He just dresses up like a lady and gets sexual arousal from the act of dressing as a woman and the idea of being a woman. Yeah, I know Steve has talked trash about me. Me and Steve, I respect Steve. Like I've had good conversation with him. We disagree fundamentally on a few things. I don't think he's a bad guy. We disagree heavily on a few heavy topics. Like doesn't mean he's a bad guy. Aubrey says, villain, are you true to who you are at the core? That's true self-love. I don't know what that means. All right, that's my rant. I basically wanted to get on here and talk about the FBI thing. I'm not going to cooperate. I'm not going to help the FBI is a corrupt organization. They're locking people in prison without in solitary confinement. I don't like the bipartisan. I don't like the tribalism I'm seeing in society right now, to where like several things I saw in the last couple of years last year that really bothered me. One was when the police started beating up Antifa without arresting them, and I spoke out against that. I said, no, we can't let the state punch people or use force without unless it's necessary to arrest. People freaked out on me because they were using force on Antifa. So if it's on the bad guys, we can break the law. Or when the secret vans, the little silver vans, were driving around snatching people up. Like, that's messed up. We can't allow that. Just because they're snatching up the enemy, if you have no standards other than like what's done to your people or their people, that's not a standard. But I'm really bothered by how the right is really willing to turn their eyes and look away from what's right and what's the law and what seems to be righteous or good, as long as the people that are suffering from that are their enemies. Like, we need to have a standard in life, and what's right is wrong. You act towards what's right, you support what's right, and you go against what's wrong. And just because the state is oppressing your enemies, if you support that, you're only supporting the state to suppress you and to come against you. Frank Payne says, when Villain himself was arrested, I noticed the change. Frank, I've always been an anarchist and a cop watcher and distrustful of the state. When I was growing up, I saw things like Ruby Ridge and the Waco massacre, and the government making excuses for those kind of things. And I've seen how cops in general treat citizens as though they're guilty until proven innocent. And when I saw the riots, I pulled back on that and I started to reevaluate. But then I started seeing little bit by little bit of people and making excuses for the state and the state making excuses for itself. But when they arrested me, when they threw me in handcuffs and threw me in the back of the car because I was walking on the wrong side of the curb while I was filming, I was not impeding traffic, I was not causing an issue. When there were people right across the street from me about to have a street brawl, and while the last 200 days before that, like nonstop riot, and the police did little to nothing for that, but they're gonna throw me in handcuffs and throw me in the back of a car in a cage for half an hour. That made me go back to my initial instincts. The state should never be blindly trusted. That's it for me, guys. That's my long rant. I just wanted to get on here and like speak out against the FBI trying to like make me feel like I have to cooperate in their corruption. Rick Schultz, right? Like any lawyer would tell you, never talk to a cop unless you have a lawyer there. J Tree says, villain, love you, but pick a side. That is what I have been speaking against for a year now. That is what I have been speaking against for a year now. I'm not gonna, my side is truth. My side is truth. I'm not playing this tribalism crap. My side is I'm gonna seek truth. And if that lands me on sometimes on the left, and that lands me on sometimes on the right, I don't care. I'm seeking truth. I'm not trying to like seek some team or some gang. So this is something I live by here. So when I was a younger man, I got these tattoos, and this is a really important Bible verse here. Granted, I'm not. Luke 9:23 and 24. Whoever desires to come after me, let him deny himself daily, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will save it. This, whether or not you believe in Christianity, the philosophy in this verse is true. You have to live for eternity and give up your goals in your life right now and subject those to the goal of eternity in order to have eternity. If you live for today, you will die for today. If you live for tomorrow, you will live in your tomorrow. Ghost towns? I should do some ghost towns. That'd be fun. Do UFO hunts. I kind of want to do like a conspiracy theory, like a weekly show. I really like conspiracy theories. I don't believe in them, but I find them very fascinating, interesting. I thought it'd be fun to do a conspiracy theory show. I don't have a dog yet, Mrs. Blue Moon. I'm too flighty. When I get a dog again, it's going to be very disciplined, taking care of it. All right, guys. That's the end of what I have to say and my ranting. What else to say? I will say that if you guys don't have food saved up, like if you haven't been prepping, you need to prep to some extent. You need to get like at least several months of food in your house. Stop. Like it sounds crazy, right? But the world is being more and more and more crazy right now. So have several months of food. Like think about what would happen if like everything shut down, you couldn't get any resources for like 3 to 6 months. Think about drinking water, food to eat. Think about how to stay clean, how to have something to keep yourself warm, how to cook your food. You guys got to preps, like how to protect yourself, have self-protection. If you guys aren't prepping, you think preppers are crazy. It's It's past the time to let go of those ideas. Like, prep. If you guys have not prepped your house, I have a year's worth of food. I have self-defense for more than that equivalent amount. Um, you need to form communities. Like, if shit hits the fan, like if you just prep by yourself, you're probably gonna just get taken over. You gotta make relationships with people that are gonna be able to form bonds with you during that time. But prep, you guys, get food at least a couple weeks in your house. Like, what if we have a rolling blackout? Like, you've seen how fast this last year. You saw how fast the grocery stores get depleted. Like, 1 or 2 days, the grocery stores are empty. What if you have a long-term loss of power or a loss of services? Prep, prep, you guys. Get food in your house. Have water. If you need gasoline, just think it through. Just what would happen if this happened, and how would I take care of myself? Please, 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 please be prepping. At least somewhat. Destiny Gal sends a $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Thanks for your honesty. Thank you, Destiny. And Mama Red sends a $25 super chat. No comment, just $25 super chat. Thank you so much. So I'm thinking about, I'm still not sure. I think I'm not going to do it. I was going to do it. I'm not sure. It's really just because it's too expensive and I don't want to spend all the money. If you guys want me to go to LA this Saturday and film, live stream the round 2 of the Wii Spa riots that's supposed to happen on the Saturday, hit me up on Cash App. Cash App Villain Report. Cash App Villain Report. If I receive half of the cost to go, I'll do it. I just don't know. A lot of my traveling trips have just been waste of money. They're not financially lucrative. But if you would like to see me go stream the round 2 of the Wii Spa riots this Saturday, hit me up on Cash App Villain Report. I think it's going to cost me $800 or $900 for the round trip flight, hotel, car, and everything. Not a cheap trip. I'm not trying to grift, but I'm honestly just don't want to just waste that money. So if I get half of it, I'm willing to waste the other half if it doesn't become lucrative. So just saying, if you guys want me to go film that, help me do it. Bruce will drive me there? Who's Bruce? Op 12, respond to my friend request, man. Sent you a friend request in Discord. Miss talking to you, bro. Jeff Barr says you've never been a grifter. You're one of the true streamers. I did. Like the beginning of my on Twitch when I was. It's been a journey, guys. And I'm still on it, but I got my big head, and I thought like I was changing the world by my random stupid streams, and I started just like constantly asking for donations, and kind of cringe when I look back at that part, like, but But I don't feel bad asking like if people want to like finance a trip that I may or may not go on to go film something. Like I feel comfortable with that now, but like I regret how much I was like constantly like, hey, donate this, donate here. And like I don't want to be a grifter. Like at the same time, I don't want to just like waste money and like spend money to go and like have a financial loss all the time to go film certain things. But I don't want to, and I definitely don't want people to give me money that they don't have. Like if you're like waiting till your paycheck to like donate something or to send a cash app, don't do it. Just go buy yourself something. Like spend that money on you. I don't want people. Um, I don't want to take from people's needs. Like there is like this stuff's just fun for me to do. Like I enjoy filming all these events. It does cost money to buy equipment, to do travel, and to buy security and that kind of stuff. But uh, do not ever give me money that is not out of your abundance. Please never, ever, ever do that, anyone. I feel like a lot of people felt like they were trying to stretch or scrimp to help my streaming platform out, or I just don't want that. Like, I will always stay afloat. I've stayed afloat my whole life. I make pretty good money at the work I do. Um, I just don't want to waste it to go fly across the country to go. Most of the events that I did that were like out of state, I just wasted hundred dollars to go film those things. It wasn't profitable. So, anyways, I'm rambling. Do not. I'm not a grifter. I don't want to be a grifter. Be cool if people can help me recoup certain costs from certain things. If you enjoy the content, it'd be cool if one day I could like make this platform into something that could be a full-time job. That would be awesome. But I don't want to be a panhandler. But I saw, I think it was Destiny gave another $5. Thank you, Destiny. Um, that's gonna be it for me. I've rambled and talked on and on and on and on and on. I will take questions for the next couple minutes and get off here. All right, you're a mod, Snook. Mr. Robot said, "What did the FBI say to me? They said that I was a potential witness to a crime. They would not tell me what the crime was, who the suspect was, or where it happened, and they wanted me to come meet them face to face. They would not give me any information about it. They told me I wasn't in trouble or a suspect in anything. They wouldn't be straight up with me, so..." Richard Hertz sends a $10 super chat with no comment. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it. Villain Report, what's the Cash App thing? Cash App is at Villain Report for Cash App. Cash App is the best way. Super Chats are awesome because you get to like light up your comment here and I'll see your comment. I'll probably read it. But YouTube takes 40% of Super Chats, so Cash App's the best way. Destiny Girl says, what's Cash App? Cash App is at Villain Report. Or is Cash App $? Yeah, Cash App's $. $, Villain Report. Rick sends a $50 Cash App. Thank you, Rick. Really appreciate that. Thank you. PayPal account, Robert Martin. PayPal is thevillainreport@gmail.com. thevillainreport@gmail.com. Yeah, I'm not going to talk to the FBI without a lawyer. I don't want to talk to them unless they make me talk to them. And if they make me talk to them, then I'm going to get a lawyer to come. Op12 send $50 super chat. Thanks, Op12. I really appreciate that. Thanks, man. Dude, you gotta hook up with me on Discord again, man. I got you. I got a request coming out. I miss interacting with you, bud. I know there's like some shenanigans that went on in the Discord, but we miss having you in there. Barrick D, you're gonna team up with Portland Andy again sometime. I don't know. Maybe that'd be fun. You got two very different personalities. It'd be fun to bounce off of them. But Portland Andy does like his thing, and me and Portland Andy should go to a Mexican rodeo together. I would love that. How many hot dog crew do I have in here right now? Mr. Robot's a hot dog mod. There's another hot dog guy. Got the hot dog heroes in here. Man, you guys, has it not been the most insane year of your life? This year has been so crazy. I nearly went crazy this year. The last couple months, I've literally just been trying to like get a routine and like be chill to try to keep my mind together. It's been rough. Snook says, "Do I ever go out with Robert anymore?" Um, haven't been out much. Robert is doing like the flag wave circuit and like the political rally circuit. Kind of pulling away from that more and more. I just don't like. I don't like all that. Josh has got the Elk NATO going on. Paco blesses you from beyond. And Jay says, "What would I do if I was in South Africa right now, seeing everything that's happening?" I think I was out South Africa. I'd probably like be hiding my white skin, all just trying to stay alive and not get killed for being white. James says, "Why won't you respond to any of my comments?" I haven't seen any of your comments, James. Says, "I like Portland Andy, but I hate when he does the rodeo shows. Rodeos are cruel." I like rodeos. Rodeos are fun. I've interacted with Farley and Hightower, but never really done much with them. They're kind of a very different vibe than me. All right, guys. Like my tax for my Jolly Roger flag. So I guess the reason why I was making this stream was about the FBI thing, and I don't care what happens about all this. I don't want the fear to keep growing to where people keep compromising and keeping their mouths shut. just do what's right, what you believe, do what's true, stick to your convictions. And if you go to jail, if you get thrown in gulag, Deus vult, God willed it. And trust God. Do what you think is right. Don't compromise. Don't live in fear. Because if we all start living in fear, the whole society can get tyrannized. We have to just, if you're the first one on the chopping block, like, so be it. Like, we have to tell the truth, and we have to accept all the wrongs we've done in the past. And if they come back around for us, like, all you can either keep hiding and hiding and hiding and covering up your actions, or you can just walk out into the light covered in mud and just say, thus is it will be. So Robert, thanks for the $5 on PayPal. That's awesome. Thank you, man. Yeah, but that's the point of this situation. It's like, I don't know if this FBI thing is something small or something big, or if it's meaningful or not meaningful, or if it's going to go anywhere, or if they're going to press me. But I'm not taking part of it, and I've made that decision. I'm not gonna take part in that, and whatever be will be. And I think if we all made that decision as a country, um, we would stop slipping into this tyrannical realm that we're going to. There are many, many citizens that have been in prison for months and months and months in solitary confinement. Can you imagine how you would do in solitary confinement? Like, I hope they're letting them have books. I hope they're letting them get letters. Just something to keep their mind. Can you imagine just being in solitary confinement for weeks on weeks and months on months on months, and what that would do to your psyche? It's psychological torture. There's a lot of American citizens right now that have been in prison for months in psychological in solitary confinement, and that's being done in one part to fuck with their head, but it's also being done. Obviously, they're letting it be known because we know about it. It's also being done to create fear in our minds so that we'll compromise and we'll act accordingly. Hey, what's up, DB? I haven't talked to you in a while. I remember you, DB. All right, you guys. I have ranted and babbled for probably, I can't see the time on here, probably a couple hours or so. All right. Villain report is out. Thanks for talking with me and hanging out with me for a while, guys. Send me emails, you guys. The villain report at gmail.com. Send me your thoughts. Send me like ideas. Like, send me emails about what you like about my platform, what you don't like about it, what you wish you would see on my platform. Send me some emails, you guys. I love getting emails from you guys. I don't always reply because I can't reply always, or sometimes like I don't know what to reply. I'm kind of awkward, but send me some emails, you guys. Villainreport at gmail.com. The villainreport at gmail.com. TheVillinReport at gmail.com. Villain Report is out. You guys have a good night.